We're connected. If you are an XRP holder, you have a great product that banks will be using. We know that. That's not a surprise. But the problem is your investment is based on your own personal knowledge. And there are some areas in which the XRP project itself says that you must be invested in, you must be aware about, because we know that we have deficiencies. I'm going to give you today on the Crypto Investigation Connected series the answer up front right now. One of the things that XRP knows it has to do more than just send transactions cheaper. It has to work with real world assets. And the second thing that it has to do, it has to make sure it has privacy, security, and deals with compliance. Now, I know it seems like multiple things, but I want to give you on this series, in the Connected series, the answer. That's it. Now, if you want to hear the solution, then stay with me. Let's go. Now, we're looking at this, and this is Larry Fink, BlackRock. And I have three icons there for you. One is MOCA coin, one is XRP, one is Plume. You may only have heard of XRP. You may not have heard of the two. Let me tell you why you need to know about that and why I have this as the very first episode. I want to break down this into two categories for XRP, and you don't have to be in just XRP. Any payment system will need this. So if you like a cryptocurrency, then trust me, you need to understand what is the pistons inside the engine that will make it work. You have the vehicle, but now we need you to have more than that. You need to have the solution. Now, BlackRock, for those who don't know, has 11.6 trillion in assets, 152 billion in net inflows. And there is a lot of speculation that BlackRock in the third and fourth quarter will list an ETF for XRP. But just recently, there was a change, right, with the lawsuit in August, which everyone saw that. Now, before this happened, this is what we know. We know that on March 14th, 2025, BlackRock is expected to file for XRP ETF. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with $11.6 trillion in assets. Crypto investors are excited, as you know, growing the acceptance of Bitcoin and ETFs, but BlackRock holds a dominant position. Now, the issue is this world largest asset manager, BlackRock, is closely monitoring the outcome of the SEC lawsuit against Ripple before launching an exchange-traded fund. Now, I want you to know BlackRock is the biggest dog in the fight, but there's other dogs in the fight. I want you to understand you have a project that you understand transfer assets, well, maybe, or transfers transactions between banks faster. They can't just do that one thing. They can't be a one-trick pony. Who else is in this space? Well, Franklin Templeton has already submitted its application for XRP, a large asset manager. Intensifying competition. Grayscale has done that. Now let's get to the connection part. What do you need to know? January 24th, 2025, XRP said this. I didn't make this up. Crypto predictions from Ripple leadership. This is their bosses. ETFs, mutual funds, and venture capital, by digitizing financial products, institutions can streamline processes, make settlement more efficient, improve transparency, and achieve greater inclusivity. Of the 15 large global banks that have already piloted tokenized asset products, Long predicts 10, including Deutsche Bank, HSBC, UBS, Standard Chartered, State Street will launch market-ready offerings in 2025 by partnering with crypto native infrastructure procedures and providers. Now let's talk. What does that mean? What this means is that you have a product that you like, XRP. You have a big dog. You got the BlackRock. They have said that in January, XRP said it, that they have to get real world assets, tokenizing. We're talking about taking your house and having the deed to your house tokenized in a manner. You don't need to understand how it works. Just understand what it'll do. You can put it on a cryptocurrency blockchain. Someone wants to buy your house for $400,000. You ask for $400,000 and they make a transaction and boom, it happens. You don't even know who they are. You don't need to know what they're doing. You wanted to sell your house got sold. Tokenized real world assets. That's what we're talking about. Now, why is this important? Because there is a player in the game that is going to be associated right now with XRP and BlackRock. And let me introduce them to you. You need to know about Plume, 10 billion to 1 trillion. Why? Tokenization is the next logical step for crypto to go mainstream. BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, JP Morgan, all are in. And the real world assets, RWA for short, sector has crossed 10 billion in total locked value and a top forecast $1 trillion market at the end of the decade. We're talking about $1 trillion market, and we heard it from XRP themselves. Did you forget what they said? XRP themselves said that in January, they said that they want to be in digitizing real world assets because they're good at banking, but there's commas. They want to do more than banking, and you only know about one. Well, you need to hear about Plume because this is why. Plume is a cryptocurrency that does exactly that, helps you get connected to multiple things. Plume talks about BlackRock's move into blockchain and real world tokenization, ushering in a new era for asset management. Where is your Plume tokens? Do you have any tokens? They're on crypto.com right now. They've been on Binance. They're moving. I don't care if you like it. You need to have some. Do you have any Plume tokens in your portfolio? Well, why? Plume tokens are less than a few cents. BlackRock right now is a lot of money if you have the stock, and XRP is over $3. Why don't you have a portfolio with Plume? Well, I'm going to tell you, you need to have one because this is why you need to consider this. Plume Network, January 29th, 2025. Notice that this is only 5 days after XRP themselves said that. Are we seeing a connection or you think it's a coincidence? Well, let me give you what they said. 5 days later, Plume responds. Plume Network integrates with real-world assets.xyz to enable live real-world asset transparency. Look at my arrow, folks. Plume did this for BlackRock. 5 days later, after BlackRock says this, through Nest Institutional Core, backed by assets from BlackRock's Build and Hampton Lane, and Nest RWA, real world assets, tokenized assets from Blackstone, Credible, Primico, and more, enables Plume to use Nest so that users can earn institutional grade yields. That means money through tokenized assets such as private credit, treasuries, and alternative investments. Folks, what else do you need writing on the wall? If BlackRock is the biggest, the baddest, and you believe that in December or third or fourth quarter, they're going to file and they're going to get a ETF for XRP, and you have XRP for over $3 or $2 or whatever you have it, and Plume token is sitting at 8 cents, and they have already announced, as you saw with your own eyes right here, that they said BlackRock, what, and XRP, that they need to digitize financial products. And you have BlackRock who may be listing XRP through their ETFs to get exposure to their investors. And then Plume telling you that they have products through them. Then why aren't you getting that? But let me share this with you because it's bigger than that. I need you to understand how deep this goes. So as I have been telling you, on March 12th, 2025, there's another player in the game. Privacy preserved institutional grade RWA, real world assets, yield to over 700 million addressable users. Animoca Brands, you don't even know who that is. You don't even know who it is. You got XRP, you don't have no Plume, and you don't know who Animoca Brands is, but it's okay. The Connected series will let you know. Let's talk about the largest Web3 developer in the space, just like BlackRock is the largest. Let's talk about it. March 12, 2025, Animoca Brands' flagship digital identity infrastructure will be integrated with Plume to enable access to institutional-grade real-world assets, yields, offering, and drive unified identity interoperability. MOCA Network, MOCA Coin, Animoca Brands' flagship digital identity infrastructure platform for the open internet, has partnered with Plume. Folks, you have the biggest, the baddest, BlackRock, Larry Fink. They're going to likely file an ETF. You want to wait until they file one, or you want to know that they're going to file this and hopefully their application gets approved? We got other people trying to compete for it too. They got XRP on their mind. XRP has said to you in January, we need to do real world assets and tokenize it. You don't really care because it's too technical, but you know that you want a piece of it. You want to stick your beak in it. And then you got Plume, who has 5 days later announced that they're carrying BlackRock products, which will be a part of access and exposure for anybody who's an investor. And XRP, BlackRock would likely pick up. Plume will be a part of that network. And then MOCA Coin has went in partnership with them. Are you thinking this is a coincidence? It is not. Let's keep going. Plume CEO Chris Yen gives a conversation about stablecoins will expand the US dollar globally. Let's see what he said.
The Stablecoin Act and the Genius Act, we have clarity around what constitutes a stablecoin, what will be approved, what will people be allowed to transact with in the US when it comes to stablecoins, right? Now, we can take that same framework and apply it much more broadly to other things. Again, the stablecoin is a tokenized version of the US dollar. Right? And so you've taken the US dollar and put this on chain in the form of a stablecoin. Now, well, we can take that same framework and apply it to many other things. Apply this to private credit. You can apply this to other things, right? Other financial instruments and other types of assets in the real world, and have that same framework. What we want to do is have simple clarity around these rules so that we can continue to allow what we've seen in the stablecoin world, which is rapid adoption in the US dollar, right? An expansion in US dollar dominance all over the world, right? And allowing end users, right, to really get the safety and experience what the US dollar can be, but allowing also the US to continue to spread the dollar everywhere. We want that type of experience for all these different assets. Assets today have a hard time finding capital. So we want to make that process of matching investors to assets that they want much more easily, right? In a much more straightforward fashion. Today, it happens through a mixture of brokers, through transactions. It's very expensive, it's slow, it's hard to transact in. But by making this all tokenized on chain, where you can actually identify the root source of this individual asset through cryptography, right? We can make sure that anybody around the world can access anything. It's not restricted to people in the US, not restricted to people in certain regions, certain classes, or certain dollar amounts, right? You can open up and democratize access to these assets all over the world. So anybody in the world, right, again, with a simple click of a button, can just push a button now and allocate into something like a high quality American asset and get yield from that.
But we don't want to listen to him. Hip hop, hitty hop hop, yiggy yap. We just think he's just running his mouth. Well, Lord, let's see if he's just running his mouth. So now we have, that was the United States. That was Plume's CEO talking about how stable coins are going to be the infrastructure. Banks will have this at the part of the Federal Reserve. We have the what? The Genius Act. That was about the stable coins. We have coming the Clarity Act. Banks use XRP. That's what we're thinking. That's what you speculate. They're going to transfer these assets. Plume says it's going to open up trillions of dollars and globally make the American dollar more valuable. Let's see who Plume partner with, see if they have something to say. Oh, whoa, what's that? MOCA Coin, Yatsu, American billionaire who's originally from China. Let's see what he says about the same topic.
There's billions of people who are not even financially included yet. We overestimate the short term, but we underestimate the benefits over the longer term, particularly when it comes to technology. You're the expert here. In this specific case, what are the underappreciated opportunities you think that people are sleeping on?
Stablecoins is going to be a huge mass on border for the broad sort of, call it Web3 digital asset space. And I also think it's going to create a lot more mass adoption in terms of financial literacy. Think about how many people understand money and finance. There's not a lot of people out there because the daily activity that they do online aren't actually captured around that. Like for instance, if we're doing student loans on chain, which stablecoins are perfect as an example. So students today are already receiving their loans in places like Philippines or Indonesia through Web3, through stablecoins, right? As opposed to a bank account, which has more restrictions. It can also reach into villages or places where people who don't even have a bank account, right? So these are perfect use cases. And there's billions of people who are not even financially included yet. They're going to all go online, and they're not just going to be online because of a phone. They're going to be financially included. So it's going to add a lot more liquidity, a lot more growth in the market and expansion in this industry.
Well, look at that. Even in China, he sees how the stable coins will work that way. And he's partnered with Plume, his company, and he's an American billionaire from China and talks about this. We got Plume, and Plume is connected to BlackRock selling their assets. And BlackRock, XRP said that they need to tokenize with real world assets. And BlackRock is likely to do what? Hold the XRP tokens, banking, real world assets, gaming, Web3, all connected right here. That has been the Underdog Research channel. This has been Connected. I hope you check in next time for part 2, which will be grayscale. And let's talk about that. Thanks for watching. Take care.
So let it be written. So let it be done.